Beautiful. All right, so I am now recording. If I have to stop to let people in, I will probably lose my train of thought, but I'll try and get back to it. So obviously I'm assuming that I know everybody. Hey Kendall. All right, so first thing I want to say before I get started, obviously I'm not a doctor, so if you have something that you need to see or you want advice on, I'm not a doctor. I'm literally sharing my views, my opinions, my research, and my own personal experiences. Okay, so I'm not pro or against anything in particular. I'm just sharing what I've learned. I've got a really massive interest in this. For me personally, I have been on antidepressants. I also have ADD. I've come off Lexapro. They gave me bloody panic attacks in my sleep, which is like, I'd never had a panic attack before in my life. And I'd literally wake up and be like, and everything was closing in on me and I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was having a heart attack the first time it happened. And then I realized what it was. And I'm currently coming off Pristique. Okay. So I've got a huge interest in learning how to manage mood through food and, other ways, rather than just using, antidepressants and chemicals and things like that. So today is really about sharing with you what I've learned, what I know about, affecting your mood through obviously food, and how we are as humans and things that we can do to make our life a little bit brighter, lighter and healthier, and things that you might go, shit, I could just change that and that. And, make a few small changes to make yourself, whether it be healthier, happier. As we get older now, there's so much brain diseases and stuff like that as well. And, you will understand as I go through as well, food and everything is so different to what it used to be. So it is super interesting. I nerd out on it massively. So I put together what I can. So basically I'll just try and move this because I can't see properly when I put this. Here we go. I'll put you guys over there. Okay, so we live in a world where the food is no longer the quality it was once. So as I was saying, I put a post up and it was saying that an apple 50 years ago, to get the same nutrients from that, you need to have 6 apples today. All right, so we're not getting what we used to get. The soil is depleted, and even if you're a massive clean eater, you're probably not hitting all those targets unless you grow your own vegetables, you eat organic, all that kind of stuff. And let's be honest, we can't always all afford to be doing that anyway, can we? So, we live stressful lives, which we definitely do. We're always busy. We're always on. Back in the day, if you're waiting for a bus, you might just sit there and wait for a bus, but now you'd be on a phone. You're always connected. You're never just sitting there daydreaming. Pretty much I just want to share information that I've found. Happy to share my resources with you guys as well. And you might hear something in particular that you go, oh, I want to know more about that. That's relative to me. And, just shoot me a message afterwards and I'll share it with you. Okay, so, alrighty. You guys can see that. You don't see me putting the people over the thing, do you? No, okay, cool. All right, so a real quick breakdown for you. So you've got your macronutrients, that's your carbs, proteins and fats, okay? You've probably all heard about that. You've got your micronutrients, which is your vitamins and minerals. We don't need those to survive, but they're not essential. We're not going to die without them, but they are essential to help you fight disease and keep the body moving properly. You've got your phytonutrients, which comes from your plants. And again, that's what I was saying. Our plants, aren't quite the same as what they used to be when it comes to fruit and vegetables and things like that. For me personally, that's why I take the Be Well Greens balance, because that's the phytonutrients in there. So science today, they're now realizing that we really want to be treating disease more with food than with medicine, because there's so much research out there and we have it all at our fingertips, where we can learn how, your gut health and your brain health, how it's all intertwined and how it affects your focus, your immunity, your cognitive function, and all of that. So there's just so much out there, it can't be ignored. We live in a world now where we have information everywhere. So, there's some great podcasts and people, which again, I can share with you guys if you want to do your own research into this. Our guts have their own ecosystem, okay? It's amazing how much is in there. And they've made up of a mix of microbiomes. So it's not about trying to kill off all the bad ones and just have the good ones. That's not what you want to do. You actually want to have a balance, okay? So it's not about that. It is literally just trying to create that balance within the gut and make sure that you're not only feeding the shitty ones and killing off the good ones. So this was for me, I didn't know that 90% of our serotonin came from the gut and only 10% from the brain. When you think of your happy chemicals, I always just thought your brain, but it actually 90% comes from your stomach. And there's a lot of other things that come from your stomach as well. So that is actually huge, that it stands to reason then that if your gut isn't, balanced and got the right things happening in there, that's going to affect your mood if that's where the happy chemicals are coming from. So your gut health affects, your immunity, hormones, metabolism, and digestive function. We have 40 trillion bacteria in our gut, which works out to be about 2.5 kilos. So it's a lot, okay? And then these are all the things that you can sort of suffer from when your microbiome is out of whack, okay? So fruit and veg, we've talked about that. Okay, so what are the things that we want to eliminate or reduce or, have less of that are killing our gut? No surprises. Number one, sugar. All right, we know this. We know that sugar is a killer. The bad or the, hang on. Oh, here we go. Admit. So the gut bacteria that we're trying not to feeds on sugar. Okay, so the good ones feed on fiber. So check this out. Hunter-gatherer days, they reckon they ate 22 grams of sugar a year. And today the average person has 816 kilos. What the heck? That is insane. So back in the day, they'd find some berries on a tree every now and then and all that kind of stuff. These days, like, we've just got sugar in everything. I mean, you put in sauce on your stir fry, there's sugar in there, like everything has sugar in it. So we have way too much sugar and it is not good. Okay. Gluten, the Latin word for gluten is glue. It's a sticky substance that holds things together. So when you're thinking about having that in your tummy, probably not ideal, okay? When they're making it white and fluffy, okay, the grains used is glucose. What does the glucose do? It feeds the not great gut bacteria, okay? The biggest things you can avoid is sugar and white starchy carbs. They are the worst for yourself, for your children, for mood, for gut health, for everything, okay? Fried food and takeaway, no surprises there. Okay, look at this. They did a study where people ate takeaway for a week and they lost 33% of their microbiome in 1 week. 33%, that's actually insane, okay? Try telling me that you're going to be waking up feeling amazing after that. You're going to feel like crap, right? So yeah, obviously it contains a lot of sugar, preservatives, and all that kind of stuff. Alcohol, I kind of didn't want to really see this one. Okay, stands to reason. And guys, I am going to tell you how to make it better as well, so it's not all doom and gloom. Trust me. Jill, put down the glass of wine, mate. Okay, and look, we all like to have a drink, and it is more about awareness and not cutting everything out. You've got to live your life. I drink alcohol, I'm no saint, but it's about balance, okay, and being aware. So alcohol, when you think about it, it's used to kill germs. It's fairly obvious it's then going to be killing your gut bacteria as well, okay? We literally disinfect things, don't we? And it's got alcohol. This can lead to leaky gut and inflammation. Okay, soy. So in the Western world, our soy is genetically modified, and it kills 2 of the most important types of gut bacteria that we want to be keeping. So if you are a soy fan, and I know some vegans absolutely love soy, you need to go for organic or fermented, okay? Otherwise, it's not doing you any favors. I've always avoided soy because I always knew it was, I just knew it wasn't good for you. Dairy has proteins that as we get older, we can become sensitive to. This has happened to me. I used to be fine with dairy, milk and stuff, and as I've gotten older, it bloats me and my gut just no longer enjoys it. So you might find something similar. So if you're going to have dairy, go for pasteurized avoid pasteurized and go for raw or fermented. Tap water. So I was talking to Ash about this. I didn't realize quite to the extent, and I hadn't really thought about it. Tap water is recycled, which is great because we need to be doing that, but they add chlorine to it to kill the bacteria when they're recycling it. So it stands to reason that when we're drinking it, we're then killing our own gut bacteria. Now, it is more watered down by the time it gets down there, but basically they're putting something in there to kill bacteria, okay? And we drink it and it's going to obviously kill bacteria. So it was actually one of the most important things that a lot of them were saying. If you can't afford to get your whole house filtered, just get your drinking water and your shower, because what you absorb when you're showering. And I was like, because in Arbonne, we always talk about everything you put on your skin, you absorb within 26 seconds. And, we talk about makeup and skincare and deodorant and everything you're using. And I was like, the water in the shower as well. So that makes absolute sense to me. And it's one of the things that I now need to look into, because I was like, that's actually terrible. I don't want to drink the water anymore. We can buy bottled water, but we don't need any more plastic in the world. So it's easier just to filter what you're drinking. Okay. Antibiotics, and this was the other thing. I don't take antibiotics. I don't really get sick, touch wood, but 80% of the antibiotics produced they're given to the animals. That's nuts. 80%. Okay. I think it was, we produce 24 billion and we give 18 or 19 billion to the animals to avoid infection and to keep them growing. Okay. And so then we ingest the antibiotics via the animals. I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. So although if you're having grass-fed beef and they've been eating the plants, then you can get some of the phytonutrients. So that's on the other side of that. But again, are we all buying organic and all that kind of stuff all of the time? So on a little side note, the cooked chickens, even though they're yummy, they are packed full of bad stuff in there. They actually inject them to pluck them out sometimes, and there's like a chemical shitstorm in cooked chickens, even though they taste good. So yeah, antibiotics was a really, really, really big one. And artificial sweeteners, I was guilty of this one. I used to always have these, artificial sweeteners, but even though the whole idea of them is to replace sugar, they actually can cause glucose intolerance, which is not good. And yeah, they're not ideal for you. So no more Diet Cokes, no more fake sugar. Okay, you're better off just having a little bit of normal sugar, to add to your 816 kilos that we're now consuming per year, which is pretty crazy. So they're probably the top ones to avoid. Now, the vagus nerve runs from your gut to your brain, and that is responsible for things like your anxiety and depression, okay? The messages it sends are, in short, affected by the quality of the proteins that we're making in our gut, which is affected by the foods that we eat and the state of our microbiome, okay? So I'm going to get into that, but first, I'm going to share with you some things that we can have, which is really, really good. Okay, so basically we need to upgrade our biology. There's a really, really cool guy called Dr. Mark Heyman, and he is incredible, and he is 62 and his bio age is 42, and he does heaps of podcasts, and you can YouTube him. He's like a wealth of information. He's amazing. Counting calories is not always the answer. I know for me, back in the day, it was all about calorie counting. All right. So you want to go on a diet, you want to lose weight, calorie counting. Okay. I am like the opposite now. It's like, I don't know if it's just me or if just everyone's sort of evolved a little bit, but you focus on health. Like if you focus on health, your weight will generally sit where it's meant to sit. Okay. If you're eating healthily, you're generally not going to overeat, although I can do well on the raw treats. I'm not going to lie, but you're generally going to be sitting in the right spot and your body knows what to do. So there was a study that shows that people, by cutting out their white starchy carbs and sugar, they actually ate some better fats, but they were burnt an extra 400 calories a day. So, your body knows what to do. So, it's not, even though, yes, you go into a deficit, you can lose weight, but forget weight, just forget weight. Look at your health, because there's no point being skinny if you're riddled with disease when you're older and mental disorders. It's not worth it. Just focus on being healthy. Okay, so all the research I've done with regarding, cutting out your dairy and your gluten and everything, for me, I'm like, shit, it's the 30 days to healthy living. That's what we do on Arbonne, and it all ties in and it all makes sense, which again is great for me because I'm like, okay, we're doing the right things. We're teaching people the right things. So that's one way. Obviously, people don't want to live like that. That's more for people that want to do an actual reset. Broccoli is probably at the top of the food chain when it comes to flushing out your toxins, and which in turn means less disease, cancer, and things like that. Your fruit and vegetables, okay, obviously you want to eat those organic where possible. Doesn't have to be super expensive. I went to the Vic Park markets on the weekend. It was like pesticide free, fruit and vegetables, and it was very comparative to, if not the same price as what is at the shops. So it's not like it was $1 million more. The girls were like, why do the pears look like this? And I was like, because they're not supermarket pears, they're fresh pears, but they taste good. So, there's little things like that you can do. Taking a good probiotic with a prebiotic, that is really important. I think this is one of the most important things because we kill off our gut microbiome and we're not putting anything back in. Now, I personally, there's some foods that you can have. I don't really eat these foods, which is why, for me, I take the Arbonne, obviously, gut health, because it's got the probiotic and the prebiotic. So otherwise, you can eat fermented vegetables, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, things like that. They're really, really good for you and your gut, okay? I don't eat a lot of those things. Okay, greens balance. Whether or not you are using the Arbonne one, you need some sort of phytonutrient supplements, okay? Avoid synthetics. Never buy your supplements from Woolworths or Coles, okay? If you are not using the Arbonne ones, iHerb.com is they sell quality supplements, and I think it might be free shipping. They take a little while, but they're not super expensive. So, you know, quality is everything, guys. A high protein diet is very important. This, you know, releases your energy slowly throughout the day, and it stops your blood sugars from crashing, which I'll touch on. So a protein breakfast rather than carbs. If you are having carbs for breakfast, or you skip breakfast, you'll probably find that you have a crash in the evening. Okay, we want to stabilize those blood sugar levels. Eggs are great. Okay, eggs are protein. If you can get up and have eggs for breakfast, that's awesome. Not everyone has time. Personally, I like my protein shakes. Again, vegan protein, you know, hits everything that I need, and it sets you up for the day. It's really, really important. Okay, and it doesn't have to be a shake. It can be protein oats or, you know, whatever. Again, if you're having protein and you're not using the Arbonne protein, make sure whey, it's not whey. Whey is a byproduct of cheese making. Okay, you don't want to be taking whey. You want to be having a pea protein that has a full amino acid count, and no nasty shit in there. There's so many proteins out there that have just got all this weird ass stuff in there. You don't need it. Okay, you just want a decent protein. Nuts, if you can tolerate them, are really good. Obviously still, you know, high in fat and calories, but studies show people with colon cancer, if you have 2 handfuls of nut a week, 50% had a less chance of 50% less chance of dying. Like if your stomach can tolerate it, and not everyone can, raw nuts without no salted, no roasted, no buttered, bloody this, that, the other, just raw, but really, really, really good for you. Magnesium, okay, that's another good one, helps keep the body relaxed. Omega-3 is really important, and there's a lot of stress on this for the children as well. The body doesn't produce omega-3, and we don't produce vitamin C. So those are things that if you're not eating, like for the omega-3, like oily fish, like good oily fish, then you want to probably be taking an omega-3 supplement as well. When you're looking at ingredients, avoid things with words you can't pronounce. All right, so that's a bit of a no-brainer. But if there's all these weird ass, you know, things in there, you're not doing yourselves any favor. You're killing off your stem cells. It can be difficult, like even for when I want to buy wraps, like I'm trying to find wraps without all this added shit in there, and I'm like, oh my god, can I just get some wraps? So I am a bit of an ingredients Nazi. I do check everything. For me, that's why I've aligned with the Arbonne stuff, because I don't need to keep checking that, because I know it's all good. But obviously just eating general stuff, it can be a little bit difficult, and the idea isn't to ruin your life over this, it's just to have a little bit of awareness. Green tea and black tea. Black tea is actually really, really good for you as well. So it's not just the green tea. For some reason, I can't drink green tea, which I hate, because I would love to be able to drink it. Okay, so who's ever been like, you know, when you're always hungry and you eat and you're like always hungry? I'm like that person. That is your leptin, okay? So what that is, that's the appetite suppressor, and it means that it's not working efficiently. So again, that's your gut microbiome's out, right? And the ghrelin, that's the appetite stimulator that lets you know when you're full. Now, quite often, you know, if you've had a high carb breakfast or something like that, you've mucked around with your blood sugar levels. That is why that is happening. And, you know, you're eating and it's not working properly. Your gut, you know, your gut balance is out, and it's not sending those messages correctly. So you really want to try and bring everything back to that homeostasis, okay, where it's working efficiently and properly. Sleep is really important too, guys. Sleep is huge. You need to sleep when you repair. Okay, so that's why you need a quality protein. Okay, now not everyone is eating enough protein. Okay, I know a lot of females especially think that if they take a protein shake that they're going to be like, oh, muscle woman. Let me tell you that people train really hard to create those muscles to get up on stage, and you're not going to do it just by going to the gym a few times a week. Okay, there's a lot of time and effort. Protein shakes are not going to make you big, but a quality protein will help you regulate the leptin and the ghrelin. So a lack of protein causes muscle loss. Reduced muscle mass means reduced metabolism. It can cause metabolic damage, which causes fat gain. Okay, it slows you down, it causes fatigue, and it reduces strength. Now, I eat a bucket load of food, and people are always like, wow, you eat a lot. It's like thousands of calories a day, but I've got a lot of muscle. Okay, I take my protein, I eat my foods, and I'm like whizzing along quite nicely, because I've got muscle. So there's a lot to be said for lifting those weights, guys. You're looking for 2 grams per kilogram of your ideal weight. Okay, the Arbonne protein has the 9 amino acids we need, which our body can't produce on its own. And we've got, we mix the pea protein with brown rice and cranberry, just so we've got the full amino acid score and lysine. So Arbonne's smart. They know what they're doing. They've been around for a long time. Now, the interesting thing is that anyone can create a protein. So like if I decided to create a protein to sell with my, personal training business, I could do it. I could design a label, I could jump online and I could start selling it. Okay. It doesn't mean that it's a quality protein, but it does mean, it is something that I can do. So just because you see someone on Instagram or whatever it may be, or clever marketing, it doesn't mean that it's a decent product. All right, you really need to do your research on what you're purchasing. And as an example, trans fats have actually been banned, yet you will still find trans fats in a lot of protein bars. And I'm like, wow, how is that even allowed in there? Like, it's actually been banned, it's bad for you, but they still have trans fats in there. So, I don't know how heavily regulated this, whole area is. So that's why I avoid anything like that. Keep a food diary. This is actually not a food diary for weight, it is for your mood. So if you eat something, like you might have takeaway or you have a big night or whatever, and 2 or 3 days later, you're like, you check your diary and you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Like I just want a coffee all day. I feel like shit. I was grumpy, blah, blah, blah. You can go back a couple of days and be like, oh, that's right, I had that or I had this. And by tracking, not only what you're eating, but how you're feeling, you'll start to see patterns and you'll see things that are serving you and things that aren't serving you. And you'll be like, you know what, every time I do that, 2 days later, I want to kill myself. I sleep in, I cry, I argue, whatever it might be. And you'll notice patterns with regards to your food. And every single person, like we are all made up differently. Okay. Different things affect different people. There is no one size fits all. All right. For anything, when it comes to mental health, when it comes to food, like that you have an intolerance to and all that kind of stuff. Some people drink alcohol and get fat. Some people drink alcohol and get skinny. Like we are all individual and there is no one size fits all. It's about knowing yourself and what works for you and what's affecting your mood and things like that. Okay. My partner, he can drink till the cows come home and he's got abs, he's just, everyone's different. Okay. So your mood and your food. So rather than treating the cause, looking at treating the cause rather than just the symptom. So what can we change in our lifestyle before we reach for the pills? Potassium. Now, potassium is is a really, really, really important mineral if you want a good, relaxed body. So this calms the nervous system down. Now, a banana has 400 milligrams. We need 4,700 milligrams a day on average, which means you would need to consume about 8 to 10 cups of salad and vegetables to get the right amount. If your potassium is low, your heart rate will be high and your blood sugars will be out of whack. Okay. We were talking about our blood sugars before. Okay. So if you don't have the right amount of potassium, you need to be looking at getting it from other sources. And again, that's where your supplements can come in to be, or maybe you just want to get something like a pure, you don't want to start having 10 bananas a day because you probably won't poop for the next week. Okay. So do not do that. Not ideal. All right. So you want to, that's where you'll be looking at supplements. B vitamins. Hello, Fizz Sticks. I was like, yes, that means that Fizz is good. I love that. As soon as I heard B vitamins, I was like, yes. Okay. So basically you use these up when you're in a stressed state. Okay. When you're busy and you're like, rah, rah. So you deplete your B vitamins. That's when you become anxious. A good way to get your B vitamins from food is your nutritional yeast flakes. So these are a vegan substitute for all things cheesy. All right. Now, I know I don't eat a lot of dairy. That's why I have them. I put them on my homemade pizzas. I put them in my zucchini slice. So yeah, basically this is my little cheese substitute, but this is a great way if you don't want to take a supplement to get some extra B vitamins in your life. You can have it with pasta, all that kind of stuff. Be wary of supplements. Avoid synthetics, okay? If you're taking a supplement like the greens, you want a powder, okay? Magnesium, get a powder. Try and avoid all the little tablets. Omega-3, yep, or fish oil for cognitive function, especially for children. Right, talking about blood sugars. When they are high, you get brain fog and loss of memory. Has anyone ever had that all the time? Brain fog and loss of memory. When your blood sugars go down, that's when you've got irritability and ADD. Okay, you stabilize your blood sugars with a protein breakfast rather than having your carbs and your cereals and your toast. Okay, set yourself up for success. It is really important. Your afternoon crash is going to come from what you've done in the morning and how your blood sugars are reacting. Okay, there's a lot of science around this. Okay, I've talked about this, 90% of your serotonin, okay, 10% from your brain. So you want to build up your serotonin with a good diet. That's your happy chemicals, all right? If you're feeling a bit down and a bit blah, all right, look at what you're eating. That can be a little turning point for you. Stress. Cortisol is the stress hormone. Work hard, partying hard, not looking after yourself. Maybe you in a bad relationship. Maybe you just work a lot. Maybe you've just got kids that do your head in. Who knows? But you put your body in fight or flight mode. You're going to get anxiety as a symptom from the cortisol. So anxiety, worry, thinking all the time. It's a high cortisol adrenal problem that needs to be improved through natural means. And that's where things like going for a walk, you need your sleep. You need your sleep to repair. Eating well and avoiding stressful people. Probably can't do that if you work with them. Meditation, gratitude, all that kind of stuff. Sleep is where you repair. So, sometimes people think that they're sad or depressed. It's like, no, you're just fucking exhausted. Excuse my language. But you know what I mean? Have a good sleep and I bet you feel better. So, when you're just always worn out and tired, sometimes, like I know that if I'm tired, I'm useless these days. Like I used to be great, but I'm not now. And I feel sad, or I feel like I'm just like, everything's like, and I'm like, I'm just tired. Like if I don't get my sleep, I'm tired. And I know that if I have a sleep, I'll be better the next day. Okay. Oh, here we go. So the link, meet your happy chemicals. We love the happy chemicals, don't we? All right. So if your microflora is out and you're missing the good bacteria from your digestive system, it leads to all sorts of problems with your brain chemistry. Okay, so this is your gut. And when it's out, it's mucking around with the chemistry going on up here. Now, if you've experienced the loss of a loved one, it's normal to be sad or depressed. But why are we seeing so much anxiety and depression without a major reason? So what happens is your microbes actually make proteins. Neurotransmitters are hormone-like proteins and they travel through your nervous system. If you're missing certain proteins, we may feel depressed or anxious. So again, if you don't have the right microbiome and you're not producing the right chemicals and the right proteins, that's why it's going to send the messages up to your brain and you're going to feel a certain way. Your fight or flight mechanism is called, here we go, Ash, this is your sympathetic nervous system. Then we have the rest and digest system, which is parasympathetic system. And we have a third one, which is the enteric, which is the connection between all of the nerves in your gut and the direct connection to your brain. So it really is a two-way street here. And if one's out, it's sending messages to the other one. And yeah, that's kind of how it all happens. So the vagus nerves, you may have heard of this, carries extensive range of signals from the digestive system and the organs to the brain and vice versa. It controls specific body functions such as digestion, heart rate, and your immune system. It also acts to counterbalance the fight or flight system. So if we are stressed, you can take a big breath and you can actually start to calm yourself down. Things like ADD, autism, depression, anxiety, that is inflammation of the brain. Now, when your gut is inflamed, you get bloating, you might get diarrhea, you might get all these other symptoms that come from having an inflamed gut, all right? Your brain's way of telling you it is inflamed and it's not happy is ADD, depression, and all that kind of stuff. That is inflammation of the brain. Okay, our brain is a muscle and it's one that we really do overlook. We're all about these ones, but we don't think about these ones. It can be trained just like any other muscle. We can make it bigger and stronger and we can make it work in our favor. And that is where your things like, you guys would probably all know, I'm well into like personal development, affirmations, gratitude, meditation, that little itty bitty shitty committee, that little voice in your head that says that you can't do anything and that you're useless or you'll never do this or blah, blah, blah. Learning how to shut that voice up and get past it and just, believe in yourself and do all of the things that you want to do and all of that kind of stuff. So just learning how to quieten that voice is huge. Okay, so when we have fear, it actually compromises our immune system. I would say half of the world probably has a compromised immune system right about now, if not more. Our feelings and emotions trigger a response by our body, and it can actually change our cells. Okay, we release chemicals when we feel fear. Our brain doesn't know the difference between a fear of public speaking or against the fear of an attack by a wild animal in the bush. It has the same response. Fear is fear. Okay, it releases the same chemicals, it pumps the adrenaline, and it uses up our energy system. So same for when we go over an event or a trauma again in our head. All right. So, you know, when you've like had a fight with someone and like you're vacuuming and you're thinking, oh, fuck, I should have said this. Oh my God, that bitch, you know, like blah, blah, blah. And then you're in the shower later and you're like, oh man, I can't believe that she said that. Hey, like fucking hell, like, you know, and then you're talking to a girlfriend and you're just going over and over and over and you're like rehashing the thing again and again and again, or it could have been something at work, whatever it was. Again, our brain doesn't recognize that that is a past event. If we're feeling the emotion of that argument and we're rehashing it and we're getting right up into it again and you're like, yeah, you're getting real pumped up about it, your body is again producing chemicals around that event, thinking that it is still happening. Okay, that is why we need to like let shit go. We can literally make ourselves sick. But by the same token, if we can make ourselves sick, we can also heal ourselves. And I've just put like that's a whole different thing. But Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's incredible. And if you want to know any like his details, let me know and I'll shoot them through. And he's got a whole heap of so much stuff about how what you can do with the mind if you're interested in that kind of stuff. I won't go fully into it now, but it's incredible what you can actually do. But obviously it takes work, it takes effort, like everything. So some steps we can take: practice gratitude. When we are in a state of gratitude, our brain releases serotonin and dopamine. They're the happy chemicals, guys. They're the ones that we get from the antidepressants. They're the ones that we get when things are good. So practice gratitude. Like, you know, we can, even if you're having a shit of a day, you're alive, you're breathing, whatever it may be. Like it could be something really small. But I think I read it was like I could release up to like 1,200 positive chemicals when you practice gratitude. So in the morning, if you can think of a few things, even better if you get time to write them down. But otherwise, at the end of the day, go to bed with, you know, writing down a couple of things that you're grateful for or good things that happened, because the more we can do to look for positivity and, you know, good things, the more we will see and the more we will get. Meditate. If you can't meditate, take a quiet minute without your phone, okay? Even if it's 60 seconds or 2 minutes of just sitting there doing nothing. It can be really hard to do because we're always like I'm like a million things at once, but I promise you it is worthwhile. Even if it's just 60 seconds or 2 minutes, just to stop and be present. I challenge you to do it. Anyone can do 60 seconds. Just do it. And just be like, oh, okay, this is a little bit weird. Yeah, just sit back. And, you know, I've done it with the girls and they were surprisingly really liked it. And I said, do you want to do 2 minutes next time? And, you know, just building up. Doesn't have to be a meditation. Visualize an event or a situation with a positive outcome. Journaling your thoughts. That can sometimes get things out, like the argument where you just want to get it out and not rehash it and then it's gone. Listening to podcasts that grow us. Again, I'm happy to give any recommendations. I did like 20 hours on just brain health last week. It was just when I'm vacuuming and when I'm cleaning all the time. I'm just always like listening. I'm a bit of a junkie with it. Thinking about and writing down our goals. So we only see what we focus on, and what we feel we create. And this is huge. Like Tony Robbins has done some incredible stuff around this, where, you know, he asks you to look for everything green in the room, and all of a sudden, you know, obviously you see all the green in the room, and even if you see something off green, you try and make it green just so you get more right. And it's like when you buy a red car and you just see red cars everywhere. It's always been there, but all of a sudden it comes to your focus. It's to do with the RAS, it's reticular activated system. And basically we have so much information these days coming at us, like so much, your brain cannot process it all. So what your brain does is it only lets you see the important things, or what it thinks is important. So anything that's going to hurt you, okay, like if you see a car coming out the corner of your eye that might hit you, you're going to see that, okay? And anything else that is important to you. So if in the morning you write down or you say what your goals are, what you're looking for, you will see throughout the day things relating to that, okay? If you don't do that, your brain's just going to decide what you get to see and what it thinks is important, okay? Now, this is huge. This is a massive, massive thing. And that is where we say law of attraction. That's kind of the law of attraction. It's not so much that you're attracting it, it's just that you're opening up your vision to see the opportunities that are there relating to the things that you want. If you're focused on negativity, you're going to see negativity. You're going to notice people cutting you off. You're going to notice people doing things that piss you off. All right. But if you're noticing positivity, you're going to notice someone helping someone across the street. You're going to see good things. Okay. So have a think about what you want. Reading is huge. Okay. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't have to be a novel, but 10 pages a day or something that's going to grow you, make you better, thinking and writing down our goals, and being aware of self-talk. Okay, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You would have heard that before. Okay, so why be negative? Be positive. Why do you think you can't do something? What about if you can? I just recently, like, I know Kendall, you've just done a challenge, and I did ask someone else, and I said, how come you didn't do the challenge, like the last challenge? And they said, because I didn't want to disappoint myself. And I was like, oh no. I was like, can't say that. But like, it's better to try. Like, even if you fail, it's okay, but at least try. Like, imagine just not trying. Like, you're going to miss out on so much. I was like, far out. I was like, there's so much to unpack there. So just be the person that always tries, and it doesn't matter. Like, we're supposed to fail. Failure is good. Okay. Just worry about not trying. Okay. Failure is absolutely fine. We all fail. My presentation before this that I did on Saturday night, it was fucking terrible. Not going to lie. The talking was fine, but my PowerPoint, I only got halfway through. I just couldn't do it. ADD. Okay. So education and awareness is key. Make small changes to improve your gut health where you can. Okay. Rather than worrying if something you eat will make you fat, worry about how it's affecting your health and your mental health, and what it's doing to your body. When it comes to mental health, I see no downside in learning how to look for the good in each day and growing yourself as a person. Learning forgiveness, removing judgment, getting your focus back in an attention-seeking world, and doing more of what makes you happy. And that was a big thing I did a couple of years ago. I was like, what actually makes me happy? Because I just want to do more of that. Like, we're so busy and we've got all these friends and life and blah, blah. And I was like, hang on, where do I want to spend my time? Well, like, what do I actually want to do rather than doing what I think I should be doing, And that was a really big thing for me to be like, okay. And that was when, for me, my Arbonne business, okay, I love that. So that's going to get my attention. And, just figuring out the pockets of, what makes you happy. It's actually really, really important. Here's to a happy, healthy life for us all. Now, don't get overwhelmed. Okay, so some things that are good, some things that are bad, kind of what to avoid. Maybe if you can afford some organic meat, do that. There's a buy one get one free promotion on with Arbonne at the moment. Whether or not you are interested in Arbonne, that is absolutely fine. No dramas if you're not. I use it because I love it. It's healthy, and as I said, for me, it's just easy because I get a discount and I can buy all my stuff there. They're probiotics. So there's a buy one, get one free. I didn't know this was coming. The people on Saturday did not get this. So I do apologize to them. But yeah, I didn't know this was coming. So you get 2 of the probiotics, the gut health, okay, which are freaking amazing. And I'm making my girls have half a sachet each. You don't have to buy this. This is a pack I've put together because it's good value. The protein, buy one, get one free, like full bags. 2 times fizz sticks. Okay, so you buy 1 box, that's your B vitamins, get 1 free. I've added in a greens because I just think that everyone needs that greens. It's your phytonutrients, it's your fruit and veg. There's 36 fruit and veg in there. You're not going to get that. There's no added stuff. It's like you look at the back and it's literally just health. There's a free body cleanse as well, which is your magnesium. Okay, so that's all in there. And then you still get to select a free gift. So you can choose another box of fizz, or you can choose, night cream, whatever you want, plus free shipping. It's only $279.20, and it comes to like $698 value. And that's before you've selected your free gift. So it's actually nuts, but it finishes tomorrow. It's like a flash sale that they're doing. So if anyone wants that, just shoot me a message. It's bloody amazing. You can knock it back and get less if you want, but you have to hit a certain threshold to get, I think it's 180 to get your free gift and free shipping. But yeah, as I said, that's going to, stuff like that. And if you're not using this, just make sure you get quality supplements and just build up your gut bacteria. It will make a big difference. If you're suffering with aches and pains and all that kind of stuff, or maybe you're just feeling a bit tired and a bit dull and a bit down, and you can't take it for a week and expect it to work. Okay, you need to be building up your good gut bacteria. Okay, and the gut health and the greens, like every morning when you wake up, first thing that hits your gut, have that, then have your coffee and stuff. But I really do believe that with working on your mindset, building up your gut health, we can do so much. We really can do so much within our body. And just being positive and thinking, not just like, I don't want to be like, all like, just think positive, the world's great, the world's shit, there's heaps of stuff going on. It's not about that, but it's about, regardless of what's going on in the world, we can still be happy. You might have financial stress, but right now in this moment, it's just money. It's just numbers on a screen. It's just numbers on a screen, numbers on a piece of paper. Within yourself, you can still be happy. Okay. But it takes work. We don't naturally just wake up happy every day. It just doesn't happen like that. And the world is created. We've got the news and we've got everyone trying to, startle us. We've got so much information. It's clickbait. They're just bringing out these big headlines to scare the shit out of us and make us pay attention. But, screw all that. We can be happy. We can, work on ourselves, focus on ourselves and our families and what's important to us. And we can be happy and healthy and, everyone else, see you later, do you. I firmly believe that, just do the work on yourself and you'll be absolutely fine. Hopefully you guys got some value from that. I'm going to shut it off. Oh, fuck, I went over. Sorry, guys. Sorry for swearing, Mum. My mum's going to watch this. Apologies. I've recorded it if anyone wants it or to send it off or whatever. But thank you for joining me, guys. And, I'll talk to you all very, very soon. I'll see if I can shut this down. All righty. Good night, everybody.